I get questions all the time, or I get people who come in all the time who say, well, I want my sister who lives in name the country to be the trustee of my trust. If that happens, there's nothing, as I tell people, it's not illegal, it's not immoral, it's not unethical, but it can be very costly. If you have a person who is a U.S. citizen, and again, sometimes green card holders fall into this category as well, if they are what we would call a U.S. person who have a trustee who does not live in the United States, then you can get into what the IRS terms the foreign trust rules. And the foreign trust rules end up costing or potentially costing the beneficiary a lot of money in taxes. So you have to be careful when you do that. I do have clients that say, you know what, I don't care. That's still the best person to be in charge. That's the person that I trust. And again, it's not illegal. There is a tax cost to be paid. But, the government is more than happy to have you pay that tax cost. So if it's okay with you, it's certainly okay with them. But there's actually some other practical problems that you get into these days. Kirsten, I don't know if you've run into this or not, but I'm finding with my clients who live overseas, U.S. citizens living overseas are having a difficult time either opening or maintaining bank and brokerage accounts in the United States. I think, are you encountering that?
I don't know that I have encountered that, but that doesn't surprise me. And that's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's so much concern about money laundering,
right,
that the banks are reluctant to have any account holders who don't live in the U.S.
Yeah, and that's not because of any law or executive order or anything. It's just a bank by bank policy. We don't want to get caught in this. So we're just not going to take any of those kind of accounts. Yeah.
Right. I'm not 100% sure of this, but I think that there are also reporting requirements that they have to meet if the account holder does not have a U.S. address. And I've been told, I don't know this for a fact, but I've been told that the banks and the brokerage firms are actually getting sophisticated enough that you can no longer use a post office rental box with a street address. They know where those places are located. And if they see that your address is 123 4th Street, apartment 22, they know it's box 22 at the local rent a post office box store. So it's getting harder to maintain these accounts, again, just as a practical matter. If you have an overseas trustee, again, there are reporting requirements. The banks in the other countries have reporting requirements into the United States. I have some clients, and I'm not recommending this, but it is something that I'm seeing clients overseas do, where again, if the child is living overseas, they're actually just giving the account outright as a gift to the child's guardian and trusting that that guardian is going to use the money for the children. That can be a very dangerous way to go because certain countries have what are called forced heirship rules, where if the guardian dies, they are required by the law of their country to give X percent of the estate to their spouse or to their children or to their spouse and their children. And even if they've set up a will that says all of this money goes to my brother's children, it's not going to be enforced.
Not enforced. Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting point. Okay. So avoiding a foreign trustee is financially oftentimes desirable. It may not work for the family because the people that they trust are foreign. But I suppose alternatively, we're always going to talk to them about, well, you could just hire a U.S. trustee and, be done with it. Of course, that's not a person that you necessarily know or trust, but, those are the benefits of having licensed professional fiduciaries here available. So that's a consideration, I would suppose.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I know you run into this in your practice all the time. I mean, people do have a preference for having family member trustees, but there are a lot of times when it makes sense to have either a corporate trustee or a private professional fiduciary as the trustee. And frankly, this is one of them. It just makes things easier, at least from a tax standpoint. And again, a lot of my foreign clients don't have 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars. So saving a few $1,000s from taxes each year can make a big difference in terms of how much money there is available to take care of their children.